Stardew Valley 1.6 introduced innate enchantments, which are additional stats and unique enchantments that can be applied to a weapon found in the wild or re-rolled on a forge using a dragon tooth. The innate enchantments are noted by a golden star icon. Any weapons are eligible for enchantments except for the Galaxy weapon line and any weapon that are above level 15. Weapons that are above level 15 using gem buffs must be on Forge before they can receive innate enchantments. Now that we covered the basics of what weapons can be enchanted, let's go over the type of buffs that can be applied. For the unique enchantments, we have Slime Gatherer, which will drop more slime loot from slime monsters. Slime Slayer, which will grant 50% more damage onto slime monsters. The other buffs are stat buffs, such as Weight, or Knockback, that extends from -1 to -5, Critical Chance, which will extend to the value of 1 to 3, Attack from 1 to 6, Speed from 1 to 12, and Critical Power, which the value goes from 25, 50, and 75. There is also a chance where 2 of these buffs can be rolled onto one weapon, but it gets specific on what enchantments roll twice. For example, Slime Gatherer and Weight will go into one pool, while the rest goes into another pool. 2 of these enchantments can never be from the same pool of enchantments. So now the question is, what is the best enchantment for my weapon? The preference can be up to you, such as a dwarf hammer having less knockback, or the critical build that has more crit chance on the weapon itself. However, during testing, I found out that critical power had an interesting effect. Rather than add towards the formula of how critical damage is calculated, it adds on a whole new equation towards that formula. Don't believe me? Well, here's a clip of a dwarf sword dealing more damage than it should be doing. The clip shown is with Scout, Desperado, Iridium Band, and the dwarf sword having 75 critical power on the innate enchantment. The damage output should be more towards 643 to 742 whenever it crits, but it deals almost twice the given amount. Lastly, while I did mention that the Galaxy weapon line cannot receive innate enchantments, the Infinity weapon line can, but it gets more complicated than that. Here's one of my old save file where it got corrupted and forgot what I enchanted as gem buffs, while still retaining a forge status. However, by the time of this recording, I accidentally saved over this file, but you can see how some of the Infinity's blade is missing some of its usual speed buff. When I forged the weapon, it allowed me to reach below level 15 and thus allows it to accept innate enchantments. However, attempting to do so with any new save will be impossible unless through cheats. That is because the level of the new Infinity weapon starts off as level 16 with the Infinity Dagger and level 17 with the Infinity Blade and Infinity Gavel. With upgrading the gem buffs, that brings it towards 21 and 22 respectively. Thus, ConcernedApe never needed to implement cutting out the Infinity weapon line, as it followed the level rule for innate enchantments through any normal means. If your previous save file had the same corruption, you might be holding on to a special relic that can be upgraded and enchanted further beyond.